You are also the first person in history. You're the first person in history to be born as you. And that fact will cause you to get really excited, or it'll cause you to have a lot of fear and become lost in your life because now you have to figure out who you are. And that's the journey that we each have to take. And we don't know how it's going to turn out, except we do know it's going to be different than anything we've ever seen, different than anything anyone else has ever seen. We will hear certain things and take it for granted and not really give it a lot of weight. Certain sayings, for instance, like there are no two snowflakes exactly alike, and that's you. See, we hear those things so that we can understand that we have to form the belief in who we are, and that's an individual journey that we take. But what happens over time is that we are given ways of accomplishing that. We learn through study, through education, through developing something. And then there are other times where you do something unconventional, and that could be you. I published a blog the other day where I said, and I'm going to give you the links to all of this because I do want you to know that there is absolutely no reason now for you not to live the life you wanted to have, achieve success, abundance, and make a contribution to the world, because that is why you were born. We just take different journeys. But the document I put up was that I said, I deserve more abundance now. But the message was actually for you, that you deserve it as well. Because as we live, we start to accumulate wisdom, knowledge, information from our lived experiences, and that becomes gold. That becomes something that's so valuable. Certain things we don't think about a lot, and I'm old now. I'm just going to say like that. I'm 75, and so I do think about it. I think about, well, what happens when I'm gone? What am I going to leave? Many people don't think about that because most times we think we might be here forever. That's why we don't do certain things, why we don't get on with getting something done. And I know that one because I procrastinated as well. And I can no longer do that. And then to wake up one day and discover that you've been given the understanding, the organization of the universe, of the world, of your place in it, meaning you, the individual, because that's what happened. When I work with a client, I have information about you because you are part of the universe. You have a DNA that was connected energetically to everything that is happening in our world. Every single person is. We just get to decide if we're going to become that important, if we're going to allow ourselves to get that big. And most times we play small. And that's what I was doing. And the reason we do that is because we don't know what we have and we will doubt it. And then we will hold back because we don't want to upset the apple cart. We don't want to do anything that's different than other people, so we keep trying to fit in. And then you come to the end of your life and you discover that all you were attempting to do is become yourself. And that's what Wilhelm told me years ago, but I couldn't get there right away. And you might not have either. But that's why I had to bring in a new system. And the reason it's a new system because our world changed. We've all seen it, we've all felt it. And the information I was receiving from Wilhelm all this time for 37 years was an orchestrated curriculum of personal development, self-actualization, and ascension. And so if anyone were to use it, they would experience such different results in their lives. They would heal, they would have much more abundance, they would have much more than they could ever imagine. And you'll think about that doesn't make any sense. Except you start to understand the quantum field and you start to understand energies and you start to understand the organization of our world. And that's what I was documenting for all of these years. And I didn't believe it. I'm saying that because you'll have doubt as well. We each have something we're meant to bring to the world, but we won't necessarily believe it because it causes us to go into that unknown of who we are, and that can be a little frightening. But I will tell you this because I can now, because I've gone through it. Most of the things that you're afraid of don't matter. And most of the things that you're afraid of are your gifts. And that will sound so ridiculous to you until you start to see it happen in your life. Because once you start to accept yourself, then things start to open up. That's what the universe does. There's an organization there. And I hid for the longest time, but that was also purposeful. And as you'll see in the information on the blogs, because I'm going to keep putting this up over the weekend so that more people can see it, because I will be publishing this and I want you to see all the information, because I was told years ago this needs to be studied in neuroscience in different ways and linguistics and so many different things, because this was a great contribution to consciousness, to human consciousness. What this work was showing me through me is that we heal when we start to own ourselves. We achieve success when we start to own ourselves, because now we're in alignment with why we were born, why we were here. Doesn't make anything that you've done wrong, though. I could look at my life and think everything went in a wrong way. I screwed up so many things. I failed. I did all of those things. But in the same time, what I was doing was learning something, just as you were. And now I can give it to others. And there are people now who are thriving and moving in different ways that they would not have done if I hadn't allowed Wilhelm to give me this information. But I stopped myself as well because it was too big. How could this have happened? So I'm putting out all the evidence. I had to prove it to myself first. I've never given people anything that I know wouldn't work, wouldn't give them a result. That's just who I have been. I can't speak for any other person, any other coach, any other mentor. I don't know. I just know that for me, I had to make sure that you were going to receive some value. And the last several months, I've been sitting here going through all this information, going, how could this have happened? Because no one had done it before. So that was the other thing. No one has done you before either. So that's going to be your challenge. And then when we start to decide that, oh, wait a minute, I'm worth something and I can love myself, that's when the magic happens and your life changes. I don't care who you are, it's always the same. And if you listen to a Wilhelm channeling session, you will hear when I'm answering questions from individuals, I'm not there. I'm accessing information in a different way. And this was that rare gift that I discovered that I had, but now I'm going to honor it because I didn't know why I was able to do this. But to discover you were a savant or had this island of genius, that's why I used the genius thing a while back, because you have it as well. It's just in some different area. My genius was bringing in this information and organizing it. That was all. And it was a neurodivergent way of doing it, as you may have. But as humans, we evolve and new things develop. And I was developed a way to bring in the new human into our world. And it was a little difficult to say that because I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know that's who I was becoming. You won't either. But now we have a pathway. As I resisted it and didn't understand it, now you'll see it. And I'm saying this because this is the shift that I'm making in my life, because I'm only going to do this for another year. Because what I'm going to do now is take all this information and work with those people who really want to become happy and successful, give them all this information. That's why I have the offer this weekend, so those people can take advantage of it. But then after that, I'm just going to work with private clients. It's still, the group will still be there. Everyone who's in the group, I'm still going to have those meetings for this next year. And then I'm going to do what the message that you'll see says. I deserve much more abundance now. I've put in so much work in doing this, and it's what will make me wealthy. It was never something I was looking for, but it will do the same for you as well, because wealth is just a matter of moving through the limitations that we've created. And it doesn't matter when we did it, it's that we always have the ability to change it and move through it, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm going to talk about all the mind-body healing, why I'm reverse aging at 75, why all these things. That's going into all of this information because I've written it all. You'll see some of that in the blog post as well, because there's several of them, and I'll give you that. I just want you to know that there are no limits to what you can achieve. And I suffered and went through everything, things unimaginable, so I know what you can achieve. And that's why I changed, that's what's on my website. I know what you can achieve. Now you'll see it for yourself. Thank you for being here. Please share this with others. I want as many people to know about this, especially over this weekend. It's June 27th. And before we get to that next full moon, it's going to be a really powerful time for all of us. And again, when you read this information, you're going to see some miraculous things. And this is what's going to be published because I developed a different ability because I've never studied astrology or astronomy, any of that. But somehow all of this information that I received from Wilhelm is aligned. And that's what was causing the healing to come about with me. That's what alignment is in a higher state of consciousness. So now everyone will be able to see it, and it works for every single person because as long as we're alive, age has nothing to do with it, what you have done or haven't done, because it's about, am I still willing to go to another higher version of myself and become even more successful, even though I'm a billionaire now. And you've seen them do that, so you know it's true. So you just have to ask yourself, how willing are you to become your empowered self and live the life you want to have? Now it's here, and you'll see it all. Thank you so much, and I will see you all real soon.